In today's video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use aluminum foil to get perfectly round fabric circles. With the video tutorial today, how to make perfectly round circles that you can just start hand appliquing or machine appliquing, whatever you want. The point is that they're not raw edge. I'm going to show you this today in reference with the Dresden plate center, but keep in mind that you could be using this circle for a lot of different things. It doesn't have to necessarily be a Dresden plate. In fact, my para quilt uses this exact same message to make those little circles that are on those blocks there. All you really need is some aluminum foil and some cardboard, and this is just a cereal box. You may want to have several pieces of cardboard to work with because you might not just want to work with one, because that kind of limits you and has you doing that one at a time instead of doing like an assembly line type thing, which is what I always usually do. So in reference to the Dresden, what I always do is I try different circle templates, and I don't have any ruler templates. I just kind of use what I have on hand, and I can decide what I'm looking for is making sure that this is completely covered, but also getting the size of the circle the way I want it to. And I tend to not like Dresden plates with big faces, so I usually try to find something smaller. So this would be too big for me, completely too big, but this may work perfectly for you. So, you know, you'll have your own preferences. Just find little round things. This is an old candle thing that I kept because the circle was so nice, and I think I actually really like that. But also small bowls. This would be a really good size too, and I like these smaller size. Let's see how big. I think it probably wouldn't matter. I think I'm gonna go with the bowl size. But so once I've determined what size I want to make, I'll take my cardboard. I'm just gonna put my circle template down and then just draw that right there. And then we're just gonna cut this out. One tip is that when you're cutting it out with scissors, that you take really long cuts, because if you have any uneven parts in your template, you'll have uneven parts in your fabric circle. All right, so just a slight lumpy, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. So I found this. I thought that would make a pretty cool Dresden face. So I do want to make sure that this, what I want to cut, fits my template. I think it does. And you want to make sure that you have a seam allowance that's going to work here, but we're actually not going to cut this into a circle. It's a lot easier if you cut it into a square. I'm going to lay what exactly I want to cut when I cut this. I'm going to lay my template. That's what I want it to look like. So I would normally do this with a rotary cutter, but I just want to cut just square. It doesn't have to be perfect. The idea is that I can put this down and I have at least a 1/4 inch seam allowance or more. Ideally, I want more. Then we're ready to start using the aluminum foil. So I'm also going to cut out some aluminum foil, and the only thing I want to make sure is that it's bigger than that piece of fabric. So that should be good. So you're gonna lay your aluminum foil down. You're gonna lay the piece that you want to applique face down on top of the aluminum foil, and then you're gonna place this template right where you want it to be. I want it to be kind of right there. And then we're just going to start folding this around. And then once we've got it around, now we want to just start folding it a little bit better. So we're just trying to smooth it down. We don't want to have any kind of little jagged points of the aluminum foil, because whatever the aluminum foil looks like, that's what your fabric circle will look like. So we just want to be smoothing things down. When we've got it all smooth, now we just take our iron and then just press it. And I like to hold it on here for a minute. Just want to make sure that I get those good crease lines in my circle. It's going to be really hot, so just be careful with your fingers. Just going to give it one more press on this side. I'm going to let it cool off for just a second. If you're doing a bunch of these, you may have this process. You might be making more of the aluminum foil circles and while this is cooling off. That's the way I normally do it when I'm making a whole bunch. When it's cool, we just open it up. I usually try to open it up nicely so that I don't rip the aluminum foil and I can reuse it for other circles. All right, and then we take the template out and we don't need that anymore. And there we've got our circle with this nice crease line ready for sewing. And then what we would do is we'd put it right on here. And then you can take some glue or pins to hold it down, and then you would go and hand applique or machine applique around it. And that would give you a nice finished edge for your circle face on the dressing or whatever it is that you're working on. That's it.